Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port, the first episode of 2025. Happy New Year to you, Tony, and everyone else who is listening to us on this Wednesday morning. How you doing, sir?
Yes, dude. I'm doing great. A happy New Year and a good morning to all. Big year, obviously, 2025. You know, a lot of people were talking about it. But yeah, dude, happy to be here. The Sentry, a little bit of golf, dude. You're getting me hyped up for baseball. You're talking mad shit already, too.
Well, and I think that because we talked about it before, and actually, it's funny. It kind of like relates to what we're talking about because we actually have someone who is stuck in 1986 in the comments and kept due.
Oh my gosh.
Who says,
"Let's go, dude."
New Year's Day.
Damn, New Year's Day. I respect the commitment. He says hashtag TC, hashtag sports, hashtag DTV, hashtag Soto, dude.
And he says Happy New Year as well.
Of course.
No, but we were just talking about it, and it came up on the TCH chat about that whole like GIF, meme, whatever you want to call it, those stupid things, and like something about like, oh, like the time zones, this and that, and Yankees fans still stuck in 09. Of course, it was sent by a Mets fan, and like I was saying, it's just like, so if we're stuck in 09, you're stuck in 86. Like, I don't know. It just seems like I think that should be everyone's New Year's resolution. Just enough with that. And it's really, I know Tony's not going to agree with me, which is fine, but it's really the non-Tony and Zach Mets fans. It's their fault for this. Because it's like, how do you expect us to not get annoyed and just shut the fuck up? I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, I just like, can we just stop with this? Like, just play ball, because then it's going to be completely different when we do that.
No, I agree. Just fucking, like you said, play ball, dude. That's it. Like, this is a big year for baseball, specifically for New York fans on both sides of the city. So, play ball.
And I saw this. I think the Yes Network had originally put it out there, but this is the last month that there will be no baseball until this coming December. So a lot to look forward to. Kind of nuts because it seems like in a way, it always seems like, oh, the offseason takes forever by the time we get a chance to get back in the playoffs and all of that. But it's like, we're going to see spring training games next month. So that's something exciting.
Yeah, it's freaking sick, dude.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, like you told me that before the show. I'm getting amped up.
Yeah,
so let's go.
Yeah, and then fantasy baseball.
Let's go, dude. Running it back.
Yeah, definitely pumped about that.
Did you draft Soto?
With fantasy, I mean, I'll draft anybody. It depends who's there. And then Kev Dew says, we have to listen to Yankees fans for the past 20 years, so it's our turn. No, it's not your turn because you didn't do anything yet, Kevin. That's the problem, except get hammered, okay? But I'm sure it'll continue on, even though it's supposed to be everybody's New Year's resolution. But nobody ever listens anyway, so fuck everyone. You know what I'm saying, Tony?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, kind of interesting today. Talk about a potpourri. And it's kind of weird too that this is tomorrow will be the first time. We've had 17 straight weeks of football on Thursday in terms of the NFL. Won't have that, but we'll have, I think, a bowl game and then obviously games on Saturday, Sunday. But we do have starting tomorrow in Hawaii, Tony, Kapalua, the Sentry, what was once referred to as the Tournament of Champions. And this event actually has been around since 1953. So it was a tradition, let's get all the PGA Tour winners from the previous season, go to Hawaii, start out the year and play. And now they've expanded it a little bit with the top 50 on the FedEx Cup list from the previous season. If you look at the history of this tournament, this is usually a players tournament. You look back to last year, Chris Kirk, that was kind of surprising. 29 under, Rahman 23, 27 under, Cam Smith 34 under, a tournament record in 22. You had Harris English 25 under, 21, and then 2020 Justin Thomas won his second Sentry in 4 years at 14 under. So a lot of big numbers, and really, if you take out that 14 under, you had 23 under, 24 under, 22 under, 30 under, 21 under. So all well under par. So it just seems like that wide open course, and obviously usually good weather there in Hawaii, bodes well for these players. If you look at the course itself, par 73, which you don't usually see too much of, and it measures 7,596 yards. Always a treat. And you can see, Tony, looking at the screen here, the flyover. The greenness, the ocean in the background. And has Thorne been to any of these, or you're not sure?
Definitely.
I feel like it's like,
he's probably going. I would imagine he's going. He's probably there.
Oh my God. It probably goes back to back with the Sony.
Probably.
So that's awesome. And we were talking about this before the show. A couple of the top golfers, actually 2 of the top 3, will not be in this tournament. Rory always skips the West Coast swing to start, as he likes to, start his season in Europe. But then Scotty Scheffler, Christmas, some accident in the kitchen. And I'm kind of curious, Tony, because I guess it's really more Michael that maybe will allude to these type of things, kind of like with Burrow, the robbery. But you think any trouble in paradise there, or you think it's just honest, sharp knife? Just seems like they're talking surgery for the hand. Kind of crazy though, no?
I don't know, man. Listen, he just had like one of the greatest, years professionally of his life. His new dad. I would like to think that everything's okay at home.
But what was he hammered?
Probably like trying to cut, literally, like you're cutting the holiday ham. Yeah. You're hammered and you slip, or you're not looking, and then you can lose a finger, dude. And I'm sure, again, like knowing him, like probably has like some nice like cut sharp knife. Like if it touches your skin, it's cutting you.
Yeah.
So
but it's disappointing.
You can speculate. It's disappointing that it's not. Family trouble?
No, that we're not going to get to see Scotty. He's also going to miss, they said, the American Express, but hopefully will make his return to La Jolla for the Farmers Insurance Open.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, I know I say it all the time, but I really do love this West Coast swing. I would say it's my favorite part of the season other than the majors, honestly.
Wow.
Because there's so many good tournaments, good courses.
Great weather
as well. I always look forward to this, and just thinking about, who's in the tournament. And like I said, it's pretty much all of the top golfers, a couple exceptions, but Xander, Colin Morikawa, Ludwig Aubert, Hideki Matsuyama, Wyndham Clark, Victor Hovland, who I guess is going to make it there. He had some toe injury, but I guess he said he's going to give it a go. And then we have Patrick Cantley, Keegan Bradley, Sahith Theegala, Robert McIntyre, Billy Horschel, Russell Henley, Adam Scott, Justin Thomas looking to win his third, and rounding out the top 20 golfers in the world, you also have Sam Burns. So a lot of golfers, wide open course. So it's just kind of one of those things. And when we go back to the golfers that have won this tournament, Kirk feels like was an outlier last year. I guess there's a couple others sprinkled in, but really when you go back to even 2014, so we're talking 10 years of this tournament, really the only surprise on that list would be Harris English. Otherwise, Rahm was one of the top golfers in the world at that point. Cam Smith, Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Reed. So it seems like, going with somebody near the top is the way to go. And I know last year was different, but it seems like that's, just more, of a random thing rather than the norm,
Yeah, that is, I guess that's kind of random. But hey, obviously, if it keeps happening over and over again, there's something to speak to it,
No, I'm talking about it's the non-top golfer winning. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm saying it's happened twice in 10 years. So
right.
Obviously 80%, was with the higher guys. But it's actually kind of interesting because I always go to you first anyway, Tony. Like what did you have in mind here for, winner, sleeper, or before you even get to that, it seems like, because I know you like to kind of buck the trend, I guess you could say, no pun intended for Baker.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're going with the top 5, top 7 guy. Just from that statement before. But now since I said that, you want to switch it back.
No, not at all, dude. I'm sticking with my guns here. I for a winner, I have Colin Morikawa winning this one.
Okay.
You look at his past results in this tournament. I mean, I believe, when John Rahm won, I believe he was the runner-up. And then for the past 5 times coming into this tournament, the past 5 years, he's finished within the top 10. A lot of like tied 5ths, tied 7ths, and like I said, the runner-up too. So I just feel like he's kind of due to get over that little bit of a hump. And it's actually kind of interesting because I was looking at, he has a tee time, obviously, but I'm trying to figure out at what odds he's at. It doesn't have any odds for him.
Wait, everyone else has odds?
Yeah, Patrick.
But if you,
right, and then Colin Morikawa just says a little dash.
That's weird,
right?
Let me just make.
But he's playing. It says
there's no news articles about it.
Thursday, 2:21 p.m. like tee time.
Yeah, that's weird.
So I don't know what would you. I don't even know what you would put him because he's not top 10 golf. Is he top 10 golfer now?
No, he's number 4.
Really?
Yeah. Which I didn't realize.
I didn't realize he was that high either.
Yeah. But he's definitely amongst the favorites, I would say.
Okay, so let's freaking go.
But actually, there was an article here. It says the betting profile of the Sentry on PGAtour.com. So maybe that will tell us
the betting profile.
Let's see, latest odds.
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah. I'm looking at CBS Sports right now. Latest odds. Oh yeah, right there, plus 1,100.
Okay, so he's what, 3rd on the list?
Yeah, 3rd.
Yeah.
So let's go. He's my winner, dude. I mean, why not? He's fucking due, I think.
Yeah.
And then for a sleeper, I was gonna do Max Greiserman, I guess. Looking at the way he ended last year. He kind of ended out actually on a hot streak. His past 4 tournaments were like playing really good golf. And from what people have been saying about this course is that you need to have really good iron work. And this guy has been one of the more consistent
iron players
in the PGA, as well as having like one of my consistent tournaments as well, like consistent numbers over the weekend, which obviously is going to help him secure a victory, hopefully. So Max Greiserman, dude, sleeper.
Wow.
Plus 4,000.
I like it, Tony. I have to say. Yeah, so for me here, this is kind of tough, but I think I'm going to go with really who, you could argue deserved the Golfer of the Year award as much as Scotty did last year, and that would be Xander Schauffele. The 2 majors, I just feel like he is really, and it seemed like maybe it took longer than people anticipated, but what is he, still in his early 30s? That he's really come into his own. And I wouldn't be surprised if he won, at minimum another major this year, if not possibly 2 again. His game is just that consistent, and I think it works at any course. It's not like there's any course that's bad for his game because he's such a consistent overall player. So give me Xander Schauffele. And then as a sleeper, going deep on the list here, I think I'm going to go actually with a guy who has been highly touted before, but because of injury has fallen off. And I guess right now he's ranked 63rd in the world. Give me Will Zalatoris. So I think he's still kind of finding his form, but a wide open course, Tony. I think that can bode well here for Mr. Zalatoris.
Love that, dude. I don't think we didn't give any scores.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So I'm going to say Schauffele, because I'm not expecting the slipper to win, so I'm going to just go with my winner with the score. But Schauffele, I'm going to say, will be 27 under par.
I like that. It seems to be pretty consistent with like what you're looking at. 2019, 2020. I'm going to go a little bit higher. Why not, dude? I'm going to say 30 under. Let's go.
30 under. There we go. All right.
Bang, dude. The nice weather.
A little, because I know it kind of snuck up on you. You probably didn't even think about it until I mentioned it to you. What was it, yesterday?
Yeah.
But now are you kind of a little excited?
For golf?
Yeah,
for sure, dude. I'm definitely going to try and get, to watch as much as I can here. But I'm also, it gets me more amped to play, if anything, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I there is something too, like just, I like Hawaii just always seems like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Like, it's so sick to go there. So just seeing, like, just watching the broadcast, like just watching it, like the golf is obviously good, but just seeing like the background and stuff, I mean, it's amazing. Yeah,
gorgeous, dude.
So that'll get underway tomorrow at 12:30 on ESPN Plus for the PGA Tour live coverage, and then 6 to 10 on Golf Channel. And I'm sure Riley will be watching, I would think, because he always says he doesn't like fall golf. But I think now that, the regular season is starting, I think he will be back, Tony.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's not like he's watching Bruins games, like, come on.
Oh, dude. Yeah, exactly. So be interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, won't really have any updates tomorrow, but at least we can talk about the first round on Friday. But yeah, like I said, good for golf to be back. But let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the nail. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink Washington made the full split save. Are you kidding me? Turn. Side of the net. Between the legs and they score. Filthy. David Pastrnak, the silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. So we did have the Winter Classic yesterday. One thing, though, in a bunch of other games, but one thing I wanted to mention is I got this text from Optimum this morning, and I saw someone on the TCA chat mentioning this as well, that there's some carriage or carrier dispute with MSG, and starting right now, not available on the cable box. I didn't check this morning, but I'm imagining that's the case, and I think they could work it out. We've seen this happen before with like the Yes Network in the past, but so right now, no ability to watch any Ranger or Knicks games.
That sucks, dude, especially for obviously Knicks fans, and I'm sure I'm sure they're gonna resolve it probably by honestly tonight.
Yeah.
Dude. Like there's no way they're gonna have like literally 10 million calls.
Oh
Optimum.
Yeah. And Optimum is even suggesting get Fubo TV. Like they already have these alternatives. When I clicked the link this morning,
that's embarrassing.
But yeah, I would expect it to get resolved. But it just
Optimum sucks, dude.
The only reason I'm fine with Optimum is because they're the only cable network that I can at least get in Stanford. I don't know if it's any different here. That has the Yes Network.
So I get that.
So it's you know what? Take everything away. As long as I have that, it's fine. I know, yes, you could do the yearly with the Gotham app, but it's just enough with the apps. Just give me regular cable.
Cable. I know. No, I totally agree. I do love cable, but they fucking shyster you, dude.
Wait, do you have Optimum?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they're such pricks about.
Wait, what did they anything in particular?
I mean, the setup process was really annoying for sure. And it's just the whole rigmarole it takes to set that up and to
Did they come out or did you have to do it over the phone?
No, they came out. But it
not
was
the right box.
No. They fucked me one day where they scheduled a day, so I was home for it, and then it's between the hours, whatever. And then I guess they fumbled the reservation or something. They didn't know the guy was to come.
So sorry, sir.
So sorry. Oh, and he'd not be able to come out here for another week. Oh
yeah, no. The time window stuff was annoying, and it was funny because Pooch always dealt with it, and then I took it over because he was about to just get rid of it. I'm like, dude, we can't get rid of it. I don't care. I'll take off a whole day just to sort this out. I talked to the people on the phone. They're trying to can we just send you a box and we can? No, I was like, can you just please come here? Yeah. All new boxes.
Right.
I'll be home the whole day, and then what do you know? Everything has worked out great. Since then, but sometimes you got to be straightforward like that.
No, yeah, definitely.
But so that was kind of disappointing to hear. But obviously, too, even with ESPN Plus, could always do a VPN if needed. Regarding watching their games. Not that there's much to watch recently, but hopefully moving forward, that is a little different. And I was unable, Tony, yesterday to watch the Winter Classic, but I know you said you had watched it, and I see that the Blues win here 6-2. Just a complete domination from the start, or what did you see out there?
Yeah, I guess basically. I mean, Blues went up 2-0 early on, and I believe they were both power play goals. And it was just they came out, and the Blackhawks were just on their heels. Blues were on top of their game. And like I said, it was just scoring early and often. Jordan Kyrou. I forget who the hell is the dude who just played his 1,000th game. Cam Fowler.
Cam Fowler had 2 goals.
2 goals, yeah, in his 1,000th game, which is so cool because it's for him, he's talking about after the game. He doesn't. I think that was his 6th and 7th goal of the year. He doesn't score often. older player, obviously 1,000 games, and for his 1,000th game to be outdoors, to be the Winter Classic, to be at Wrigley, and then you score twice. Like, that's such a cool story for him. Just in terms of like my perspective of being, a non-fan here. But that was basically the entire game. I guess Blackhawks kind of made it interesting. Taylor Hall scores not too far after that.
I can't believe he was an MVP.
Yeah, dude, he was really good.
But it seems like it was kind of a short window with him.
Yeah, I guess
like
so.
Crazy.
I feel like he also wasn't in the best position in terms of this team. Because he's on the Bruins. He was MVP when he was on the Devils, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like him being moved, I think it was a tough spot for the Devils, maybe. And then after that, he just never really, after being moved, just never really figured it out. I don't know. I like him. I like Taylor Hall. I think he still has a great ability. He's definitely great for Chicago and for Connor Bedard. That's for sure.
You know what I'm looking at here? So I believe the MVP season, which he had 93 points, 2017, 2018. After that, 33 games, 30 games, 16 games, 37 games.
Injuries.
So, and then by the time it's 2021, a couple grays come in.
Yeah.
You're not the same guy.
But I don't know. I kind of like, I wouldn't
You're saying
hate
the Rangers.
taking a flyer on him. But in any case, dude, like I said, that was basically after that. It was just like, you couldn't come back from that.
You think it wouldn't really cost that much?
I don't think so. I don't know.
But I have
no idea.
Contract.
I have no idea
maybe,
what his contract is, dude. Maybe. I don't know. I would imagine Chicago was paying a ton for Taylor Hall, to be honest. But in any case, I mean, the whole event itself was pretty sweet, and it was. I'm pretty sure they said it's the first time the Winter Classic's on New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay. So it's always New Year's Day.
It's always New Year's Day, and it's always a standalone game.
But it's just because of the college football playoff,
which is so stupid, dude.
But these leagues do it. I mean, we just
because not for nothing, like 5 o'clock on New Year's Eve, like it certainly took away from the, I guess how special the event is,
right?
Because you're in a slate with 12, a dozen other games. It's 5 o'clock. Like people were getting ready for New Year's Eve, sort of deal. Like I loved the Winter Classic because it was New Year's Day. You wake up, it's a 1 o'clock game, so you can kind of like roll out of bed. You make your breakfast, and then hockey's on, and you're off. You're lounging. You're watching a cool outdoor game. So I don't know, man. I think that was that really pisses me off, and I would imagine pisses other hockey fans off.
You think they should have just done it today at 11? Because the first college football game's at 1. So like most of it would be over just for like the eyeballs. Everyone's home.
I guess so. Right? I guess so. But why change it all? Fuck college football. Those games suck, dude.
But the thing is, you could say that, but it's just like also you got to think about the league itself. What's best for the league? We want the league to do well, and what's best for the league is not competing with that.
What's best for the league is not what's best for the hockey fans. Is that not what's best?
I think though, but Tony, you have to look at what's more important though. Our viewing hours and how we view it, or the league growing and potentially eventually competing with like the NBA. I mean, isn't that what we want?
I don't think. I have no doubt hockey will eventually compete with the NBA,
but it's going to take a little bit.
Sure. But I think it would be, and I don't know if I am speaking for hardcore hockey fans,
Tommy.
I don't know, but I would think that you want to pander to them more than just the masses, right? I don't know, man. I feel like people who are really into hockey are not watching.
What do you think Dog would say?
College football.
And I don't know if that's necessarily. There's definitely a good amount of people that are, a good amount of people that aren't. I mean, just like anything. But what do you think Dog would say to something like that?
I don't know.
It's all about the ratings.
Well, I'm not sure. No, he probably would say that, but I don't know what his take is on college football.
Oh no, I mean he's everything, but like almost like what you're saying, just with some of these mismatches and stuff, that type of thing. But I mean, especially just for hockey, this is like their crown jewel. How long do you think it takes for ratings to come out? Probably they're probably not out yet.
I guess a couple
tomorrow.
Days. I guess I don't know. Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Look it up. I'm just curious if something comes up, but I'm sure that's kind of what the commissioner was thinking because I mean it is always a popular event.
I don't think anything is out there. Hoping for this is from yesterday.
Yeah, it probably didn't come out yet, but it will. But
it was sick at Wrigley.
Was it the second time?
Second time for Wrigley. Second time for Chicago, obviously for the Blackhawks. I don't think the first time. I don't think it was Blackhawks Blues the first time, but it was cool. They they had a big, obviously like preview, talked about the historical rivalry between the Blues and the Blackhawks, which obviously a lot of it I'm not entirely aware of. But I guess at one point they had the same owner. There's been like several like brother duos that have played against each other on these two teams. And obviously, the Blackhawks was being so competitive, and the Blues back when they first started being competitive too. So it was cool to see that, and I guess it would have been better to see a more competitive game. But I will say, they did a great job in I think like showing Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And I think I said that last week too, or yesterday. The NHL really does a great job with these outdoor games to showcase the stadium in which they're in and how they're able to convert it in order to have a sheet of ice like outside, which is so sick. And the rain was a little bit tough, dude. They were worried because I was watching the preview with Gretzky. Yeah, dude. But it stopped raining and it got a little colder, so it kind of worked out. Because if the ice is wet, you'll be just like literally slipping, like falling.
Oh, yeah.
So it was cool. I'm glad everything worked out, dude. And it was crazy too. Some of the players talk about how like in the intermission they have to walk down 39 steps to get to the locker room.
Boy, that's tough on skates.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Yeah.
They're showing the goalie do it with his fucking leg pads on. I was like, oh my God, dude.
And I've always been of the belief, let's do a few more of these.
Mhm.
There's 2 this year. The last couple of years has been 3. What do you feel like there's a sweet spot with like the amount of outdoor games per season?
I mean, I guess like 3 sounds good. I mean, I don't want to take away from it, obviously. But I mean, not to say I think 3 or more will, but I mean, it does seem like a pretty like intense thing to try and schedule.
Yeah.
Again, just like with obviously, the stadium, the elements, the crew, like sort of deal. And not to mention like even like every like location is like another like figure it out,
Yeah.
So I'm all about. I forget what year was it. Did I think Lake Tahoe?
Lake Tahoe, but then they had to cancel it. 1 year they canceled it.
I don't know.
The snow melted.
I know the one that I watched in Lake Tahoe. They played. I'm trying to remember who it was, dude. Was it Vancouver? No, doesn't matter. But it was a huge question mark up until like puck drop. I think that they had to like even delay puck drop because like the sun came out and was hitting like half of the ice.
I think they might have called it during the middle. I swear it was something ridiculous, ridiculous like that.
Let's see. NHL Outdoors, like Tahoe series, Colorado. The first game, Bridgestone. Second game, background. Yeah, I don't know.
I was looking.
Let's see. There's one that was against Philly against Boston, originally scheduled for noon. But then a week before the game, they adjusted to 11 due to delay Saturday game. Oh, due to the delay of the Saturday game. Was that? Oh yeah, play was suspended after the first period due to ice conditions in the Colorado Golden Knights game on February 20th.
And that was at Lake Tahoe?
Yeah, Lake Tahoe. That caused by the exposure to heat and sunlight. The game resumed at 9:02 p.m. Pacific time. That's kind of crazy. They started at noon and they resumed at 9.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That is wild, dude.
I was trying to look.
I think I kind of remember that now that we're talking about it.
I was trying to look where next year's game is, but I guess they haven't announced it.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe but I feel like because it would have came up.
Yeah, definitely. Naval Credit Union NHL Stadium Series will be available to experience through NHL Experiences, affiliate Stadium Series, offer VIP access. Yeah, I guess so. They're selling tickets, I guess, though. That's funny.
It's like, you can't just tell us?
Yeah, what the hell, dude? Don't miss your chance to secure the access to 2026 Discover NHL Winter Classic game. Right? That's great. Packages. Join the wait list. Location TBD.
I mean, come on, Tony, right? Or no?
Yeah, come on is right. I did not have it figured out. Like, it's like we're 12 months out, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I bet maybe they'll announce it at like the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps, dude. But well, in any case, dude, I really thought they absolutely killed it at Wrigley. Yeah, no, I would like to. You can get Doug on the phone if you want, dude. Next year, New Year's Day, 1:00.
Let me tell you, like, I just read this, and again, I know Wiki not always the best source, but starting with the 2025 Winter Classic, the game would take place on New Year's Eve to avoid competing with the newly expanded college football playoff bowl games. I'm just reading it, so you can tie me all you want. I'm just sourcing it for you, Tony.
No, I think it's ridiculous. It's a bad move, dude. Like, that's like you're gonna bend the knee to college football. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, hopefully
dude.
the ratings go up because I'm looking at this. So last year, lowest ratings of all time, 1.1 million. I think it was the Kraken. It was at T-Mobile Park. I just had it up here.
I was in Seattle. Yeah, that was sick, dude. I remember watching the Kraken.
Versus the Knights.
The Golden Knights.
3-0.
Yeah. And then they had the Kraken coming out of the field and shit, dude. It was sick.
But yeah, lowest in the series of all time. The highest, 2011, 4.5 million. 2011, which was in Pittsburgh between the Capitals and the Penguins. So that's a classic matchup. Ovechkin, Crosby kind of in their prime. But I wonder if the ratings will go back up this year.
Think 2014. Look at the Rangers. I think 2014 was the Rangers Stadium Series at Giants Stadium.
2014 at Michigan Stadium between Toronto and Detroit.
2015.
I'm trying to see New York.
Oh no, you're looking at Winter Classics. I think they did a Stadium Series. That was different, dude. It was different. Which is still pretty cool, but nonetheless, dude. I don't know. I think that. I mean, are they trying to say that the decreasing viewership is because of college football?
No, because it just started this year. That's the only reason they switched it. But I was just saying, too, it is kind of odd. I don't know if it was like, because it was newer, more people were curious. But now that we've had this switch in media rights, maybe, and maybe some better games, too, that there'll be more interest. I know this one wasn't, but maybe people want to see Wrigley. I don't know. Just kind of trying to think about things, I
mean, Chicago Blackhawks are a huge franchise, anyone who appreciates hockey would know that. And I guess even I knew a little bit about the rivalry, I guess. But yeah, I guess to watch Wrigley Field, which it was, I think, like I said, they do a tremendous job with the broadcast. Like, I thought everything was really tremendously done. And their crew now, like the intermission crew is sick, dude. With Gretzky and Bissonnette.
And Weeks or no?
Yeah, Weeks. They had Chelios come out, the ceremonial puck, dude.
Wow. Ceremonial. A couple comments here. I don't even think we got to Josh B.
No, we didn't.
A little while ago. Yo, fam. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Josh. Good to hear from you.
And then Matthew says, let's go, boys. Happy New Year. And then Tony cheating at Mario Kart.
Ridiculous.
No, but how did that even come to fruition?
We played last night. And
I know.
I didn't lose.
But I'm saying, was there a questionable thing that happened?
No.
So this is just all literally because you just kept winning. So everyone's like, who was most tight about this?
I don't know. I guess maybe Matt. It seems Matt's kind of tight about it.
He's always been very big on the should we play kart, dude?
Yeah. He was definitely into it. Yeah, it was so funny. Dude.
And then Angelo Benedetto says, what did you think about the Giants versus Colts game? I mean, kind of crazy that the Colts could not win that one. Drew Lock looking like Johnny U, right?
Kind of crazy, dude. Is right. Johnny Unitas.
But yeah, and I know they had Flacco, but it's just like, I don't know. I just think we were talking about it the other day, but it was just like their game plan, I think, was atrocious. And I think they should have just controlled the line of scrimmage from the start of the game. And Jonathan Taylor should have broken the single season rushing record. He probably could have.
Yeah, right.
Instead of taking deep shots with Joe Flacco.
That was really stupid. You think that was like a Flacco? Like, I don't give a shit. Like,
maybe.
Out.
He's always been tight.
Couple picks, dude. Yeah, he looked tight.
999 Juice saying Happy New Year, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
So
2025, Brian.
2025, kind of nuts. So just kind of taking a look at yesterday because we only have one game on the NHL today, and then Tony will talk about the bad job. Right,
and you still have one game today. Like, why just have no games then?
Yeah. Probably should have no games, honestly.
Like, honestly.
But the Caps 3-1 over the Bruins. That was the first game of the day. Not really a surprise there. They've been unbelievable. Washington, really the surprise of the league, 25-10. Now that they have Ovechkin back, it's kind of crazy because I feel like just, within the last couple of years, I've been talking about, they're kind of like the Penguins. They're not going to make a run. But the other guys around Ovechkin have really elevated their game where they have to be taken seriously as a cup contender this year. It's probably something you never thought you'd say.
Yeah, which is kind of wild. And like you said, dude, I think there's a lot of guys, even Tom Wilson level, Charlie Lindgren's been great between the pipes. Yeah. Strome has been great too for them. So like you said, a lot of guys step up, and now they got Ovi, back. So they're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure, dude.
Matthew says, "Oh, Washington." So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. We also saw the Maple Leafs 3-1 over the Islanders. Wool continuing his strong play in net, 30 of 31. Maple Leafs now 23-13-2, 15-7 at home. So another strong start to their season. Of course, everybody's focused on what they're going to do, come the playoffs. The Golden Knights drop a surprising game here, only their fourth home loss of the season to the Canadiens, 3-2. Mountain View, 27 of 29. Sneakily having, I feel like one of the better, goalie seasons in the league here. Under 3 goals a game. I mean, I guess the save percentage could be a little higher at 902, but 3 shutouts. But I mean, hasn't your level of respect for Mountain View last year or two kind of really risen?
Oh yeah, definitely for the last, pretty consistently.
Yeah,
has been going up for the past 2 seasons. And I guess for an organization like the Canadiens, you do like to see that. But yeah, good for him, dude.
And it's just like the question, obviously, are they going to get more around them so they could actually compete? But it seems like if they do, they have a pretty good team because they have a really good goalie.
Caulfield, Suzuki.
Another surprise yesterday, the Penguins seem to have figured things out. Now they're back to the losing ways. They fall in Detroit 4-2. And Detroit now 15-18-4 on the season. And this is a game it felt like they really controlled most of the way. Of course, now that is actually really annoying.
Wi-Fi?
No, not Wi-Fi, but it just randomly reloaded. But anyway, Lyon 23-25 in net. Patrick Kane, 7th goal of the year. Dylan Larkin, empty netter or not, Tony, up to 13. But you even, despite the win, I mean, didn't you expect them to kind of be ahead of where they are right now?
The Red Wings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe not. I mean, I guess maybe I would anticipate them to be like something like the Penguins, maybe at like 17-5. I don't know. I just feel like the Detroit Red Wings, I was kind of getting on them, 2 years ago, probably.
Well, that's what I'm talking about from then to now. I thought there would be some type of growth, stepping stone.
Yes. No, yeah, that's what I kind of thought, but I don't know. Just going into this year, it just seemed that they were going to continue to be underwhelming, to be honest. Which sucks. Because they, again, like to have some of the big names they have, to have Dylan Larkin as your captain too, like you would think they could have some better outcomes here. What is it? I'm not really sure. Obviously getting rid of your coach, maybe they thought that was the case, but I mean, I guess we'll kind of see what happens. But obviously good win for them, yesterday. So maybe this is a step in the right direction.
New coach. Yeah. Maybe that turns things around. And one of your favorite other teams here, how about Columbus? 4-3 in a shootout.
Crazy.
Mers Lincolns, Tony, the star of the show, 32
Elvis.
of 35. I know he's been always one of your favorites. In Fantil, the game-winning wristy here. So Columbus hanging in there, 16-16. And they actually have beaten some good teams this year. And it's surprising to see Carolina fall like this, but I guess it just yesterday seemed like it was a day, around the league where we just saw a couple of these upsets. So I don't think it's really anything to worry about for the Hurricanes.
No, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so at all.
But Columbus just plays tough against these top opponents, it feels like.
Yeah, I guess so. And then, they're 16-16-6. And I guess, maybe another team, almost like the Canadiens, riding like a goaltender, a couple of good guys, on the roster. Sean Monahan, 3 assists last night. He was a top 10 pick that came over from Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was great. Marchenko, Kirill Marchenko, where was he
16
from?
goals?
16 goals. Yep. 5 shots last night, 2 goals on those 5 shots. So it was great. He wasn't drafted by Columbus, I don't think. Why do I think Vancouver? No, he was drafted by Columbus. Wow, 2018. So
How old is he? 24?
24.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's somebody to build with.
Yeah, dude, that's great. Actually, that's a homegrown player right there.
And I'm sure he'll be featured at this year's Stadium Series, right?
You would think, dude.
Yeah.
The NHL knows what they're doing. Yeah.
So we saw the Stars 4-2 over the Sabres. I think you picked the Sabres in this one.
I
which
did
was
pick the Sabres
because I think you always love Hintz and Ottinger. Is it?
Yeah. That's right. I do like Ottinger. But I don't know. I had this weird feeling. I said 1-0. Owen Powers lone goal. Sabres. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in the shutout, dude. The youthful Sabre team, dude.
29-32.
Yeah, Stars can score, dude.
Casey DeSmith got the start as well. And then Hintz had his 16th. So Stars, solid year once again, 22-13. We also saw the Wild snap that losing streak of beating the Predators 5-3.
We knew that was happening.
Gustafsson,
Yep.
43 of 46 in net.
Tremendous.
The Wild still 23-11 despite that recent skid that they were on, and they've had some injuries as well. But they are holding strong here, and doing it without I guess Ek just came back, but it's Kaprizov is hurt, right? Yeah, but they do have Matt Boldy, and I don't think it's long term on Kaprizov, but obviously he's one of their best players.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Matt's is back though.
Yeah, Zuccarello has been back. He says he hasn't been practicing. Third straight
not
game,
ready to return. So it seems like it's something where they're going to still have to wait a little bit here.
Yeah, I guess so, dude. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, they don't really have any updates here, of course.
But nevertheless, it's been
lower body injury,
a strong season for them. The Avalanche 5-2 over the Jets. So this is a game that was actually tied at 2, 3 unanswered in the third for Colorado. So they improved to 23-15 after a tough start to their season. And Blackwood, has worked out well in net, 20 of 22.
That's wild. Good for them, dude.
And, also in this one, we saw Casey Middlestat have his 8th, Rantanen on an empty netter, his 21st. And then Colton his 11th on the empty netter, as well as Lankinen, his 14th. But it just seems like, I know, I guess, they had to completely revamp, the whole goalie scenario. But it is amazing, and we're years removed from that Stanley Cup, but it still seems like they have like the deepest team in terms of like guys scoring goals in the whole league.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, I'm trying to remember what that Casey Middlestat trade was.
It's so weird that you say that. I'm looking at his stats now, and it was for who the
because he came over from Buffalo. He was their captain.
He was the 8th overall pick.
And he was doing so good for them.
Oh, so that trade was last
year. That trade was last season.
I don't know why
dude.
I thought that was this season.
No, dude. That was like a really wild trade. And not for nothing, like Colorado seemed like they came out with a really, on the better end of it. Because Middlestat is a tremendous scorer. And like you said, added a ton of scoring depth to their roster.
Bowen Byram.
Oh, Bowen Byram. I guess that's kind of maybe working out okay too for the Sabres. I mean, he's young.
What's working out for the Sabres this year?
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, like for Colorado, I mean, it's such a resilient organization. A team that looked like they were struggling, and honestly, like still is figuring out ways to win with like not really great goaltenders. But to walk away from Georgiev and you're starting Mackenzie Blackwood, that's pretty wild, dude. And I guess maybe, maybe even a testament to help out with the amount of defense that Colorado has. Sam Girard, Kel McCarr, we know about already, Middleton, Taves, which is kind of wild too. They generate so much offense from their defense as well. I'm just looking, this was at 15 shots were from defensemen alone.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild, dude. So, but that's Colorado. That's the Avs. They can attack really from anywhere on the ice, and they have great defense, and they have, I guess a solid enough goaltender to beat teams like the Winnipeg Jets.
And not that anybody's necessarily counting them out, but I just feel like, they're not looked at like upper echelon of the Western Conference anymore. But I would say they're a team that, maybe even a future bet right now to win the Stanley Cup wouldn't be a horrible idea, Tony.
No, not at all, dude. Yeah, like you said,
there's good odds.
So much competition there now. Seemingly with the Oilers maybe figuring some things out. You never know what the Kings are to be doing. So yeah, it does make maybe Colorado is almost forgotten about. But hey, I mean, that's honestly probably better for them. Let people forget about them because they're still obviously a tremendously talented roster.
Yeah, they're not the hunted, but
No.
they're still very talented.
Yes.
The Ducks almost blow a 2-0 lead, but outlast the Devils here 3-2 at the Honda Center. Ryan Strome, the game winner in front of 17,174. So I know usually the attendance waning there, but I guess a New Year's Eve game, everybody off. But I hate to say I told you so, Tony, but I told you
so. Yeah, I guess so, dude.
I mean, the Ducks are almost remind me of the Blue Jackets this year, where they've won these games against the good teams.
Yeah, no, it does seem like that, which is why again they're like hovering around a 500 here. Yeah, I guess good for the Ducks. I guess whatever. Jacob Trouba, dude.
And then the Flyers shut out the Sharks 4-0. We were riled for Celebrini, but it just wasn't the time, Tony. As Torts and the boys remain or get back to 500 here.
I'm pretty sure I picked the Flyers to win.
Oh no, you know what it was? Because remember I said something about the Sharks, and then you go, "Oh, I love that, dude."
Yeah.
But And then you're like, "Oh, well, dude, Celebrini."
Celebrini of that. I love Celebrini. Score Celebrini.
And then the Canucks drop another game here, 3-1 to the Flames. Hubert Dow, Tommy, with a goal and an assist. Kadri also too with a goal and 2 assists. So Flames hanging in there, I think, longer than we thought. 18-12 at this point in the year, and 13-4-3 at home. Pretty impressive. And as we all expected, Edmonton winning 4-1 to cap off the slate here of New Year's Eve games. So Edmonton now 22-12 again. After that slow start, it seems like they get out to every year. Just able to rebound in a big way. And they're another team that just is so deep with their scoring. Draisaitl was empty netter at the end, but his 27th. And I just kind of wanted to take a look here just at the stat sheet for them, but very similar, I feel like, to Colorado with like the amount of goal scorers. So if you sort by the amount of goals here, Draisaitl leads the way with 27. You got McDavid with 15. And I think his level of scoring is a little up this year because I think he was only in like the 20s last year for goals. McDavid.
Really? Was that low?
Because he had all those assists. And then Hyman has 13, Nugent Hopkins with 8. And Evander Kane hasn't even played.
I know he had an injury. I know that dude's out for a while.
Yeah, I think he might still be out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they could use another goal scorer,
huh? Nah. I mean, I feel like they're good. It's just I think Kane coming back will help,
he definitely would. He does contribute to the game for sure. But let's look up, let's see what he's got here, dude. Evander Kane. No news. Okay, ESPN. Have to have surgery 3 months ago to miss start of the season. And then I guess all of a sudden that turns to half the year. Is this on his hand? Is this the wrist? The surgery on his hand or something? Doctor's surgery out for a while.
Okay.
Bowman said he'll be out for a while without revealing the specific nature of the surgery, dude. I don't want to speculate on that. I think our doctors will be able to give you a better handle on that. Kane recorded 44 points in 77 games regular season. He missed the last 5 games of the Stanley Cup final against the Panthers because of a sports hernia, dude.
Oh, so those are tough.
Those are tough, dude.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like, eventually he'll come back and I think they'll be just fine, but that'll be a nice piece to get, towards the end of the year. And Tom Wilson is a rat bastard, he says. I mean, hard to argue, right?
Oh, he's correct. That's a factual statement.
But that being said, Tony, only one game today, 6 o'clock. So let's do a New Year's Day Frozen Frenzy.
What a frenzy it'll be. Here on New Year's Day, kind of wild. You have one. You might as well have it be the Winter Classic. It's one game. Instead, we're having one game at the Crypto.com arena in LA. Now that I'm
Tickets
complaining
up,
about
right?
the Kings,
Ticket prices
tickets
up.
definitely are up at $71,
Which is probably $100 with the fees.
Yeah,
And
oh, yeah.
After 28 that I saw, right?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely night and day here. But you'll get two teams here, the Kings and the Devils, that do make a pretty good matchup, I think. Which is why LA minus 110. The over/under is 5.5. You imagine, Jacob Markstrom continuing a solid year as the starting goaltender for the Devils. He has a 19-7-2 record, 3 shutouts, a 2.15 goals against on average, and a 9-12 save percentage. Kings have kind of had a little bit of a timeshare here. Rittich probably getting the start here. He's an 8.87 save percentage. It's really pretty interesting how it bodes well. The Devils beat the Kings 3-1 in early December. And if you want to think about these two teams right now, as of late have been, I guess, kind of copying each other. Both winners of 3 of the last 5. Records are pretty similar here as well. Seems like got a pretty nice matchup, though, in this one game, huh?
Yeah. And then you got to think about, though, the Devils, the back-to-back, the road trip, the glasses of champagne after losing to the Ducks, on the way over to LA. You think they took a bus or no? Because I think it's like from Anaheim, it's probably an hour. There's no way they're not going to fly for an hour.
Can't do that.
Probably took a bus. But, they were hammered, Tony, so probably a little hungover for this game. Body clock, too, 6 o'clock on NHL Network. So I'm going to go with your guys, Kopitar. It's been a good year, and after going to that Kings game, kind of a newfound respect. I was kind of like wishy-washy. But let's be real. I mean, I know they haven't done anything in the playoffs the last couple of years, but they still have been one of the better regular season teams. So I think the Devils, the road trip, I think it catches up to them a little bit here. And I think the Kings win this one, let's say by the final mark of 4-2. So that would be the Kings and the over.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, whoever is the scheduling guy for the Devils should be fired. Getting shafted the back-to-back games, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Terrible.
That's wild, dude. I think the Devils here, I mean, they could still be drunk, honestly, come 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So give me LA, I think, in a pretty landslide victory here, dominant. Maybe the Devils, again, they use, like, the drunkenness to maybe start the game off good, but it's just going to go downhill. It really is here. I say Quinton Byfield, 2 goals and an assist. Kopitar, 3 assists on the night. Kempe, couple goals. Why not, dude? I say the Kings win this one. Who's dead with a backup tender, too? I'll say maybe 7-2, Brian. Kings and the dominant over here.
And just like that, that is your New Year's Day frozen frenzy, Tony. And being that it's New Year's Day, there's only one more topic to talk about, and it is Tony's favorite topic. But the college football playoff just starting last night in Glendale. And this was between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Boise State Broncos. No blue turf Tony's disappointment, but this is a game where Penn State jumped out to an early 14-0 lead. And then Boise, though, did answer before the end of the half with a touchdown of their own. So we went into the half, actually, because Penn State, late rally, 1 minute, did get a field goal off. So a 17-7 lead, going into the halftime locker rooms. But Boise State made a statement here coming out second half, 5 plays, 83 yards. 53-yard touchdown pass from Matson to Lauder made this a 3-point game. So all of a sudden, we're thinking, is Boise going to possibly pull the upset? Are they in this? And this was despite Genty, who ended up with over 100 yards, but on a lot of carries, less than 4 yards per carry, being really like bottled up versus what Boise was used to, all season long. But the Nittany Lions answered back with 2 touchdowns to put this one out of reach, 31-14. And then the game was sealed by a late Matson interception here, who had 3 interceptions coming into the game, through 3 interceptions in this one. So disappointing for Boise as they end a season that was one of the best in school history. 12-2. Penn State, moves on to the semifinals here. And you look at them, Aller, 3 touchdowns, under 200 yards, but that was enough. And they did a really good job on the ground. Katrin Allen, the junior from Norfolk, Virginia, had over 100 yards and not 2 rushing touches. That was someone else, but 134 yards on the ground, which is very good nevertheless. So Penn State, they win these first 2 playoff games, and like we had talked about, the knock on James Franklin, it's always been, winning the games against the top 10 opponents. So this technically was, but the thing is, when you really look at it as a whole, SMU last time out, this time it's Boise State. So I think, the heat will still be there. If he's unable to get, to the national championship game here. And it's not going to be an easy assignment, as they're going to get the winner of tonight's game at the Sugar Bowl between Notre Dame and Georgia. But it is a shame so far. I think a lot of thought was, with this expanded playoff, are we going to get like the upset? And so far,
no,
we haven't. We haven't got the upset. The closest game up to this point was Notre Dame, Indiana, 27-17. And that was a game that Notre Dame jumped out to the early lead. Indiana comes back. But I do think, while it's not going to be a big upset, I think there are 2 games today that will be close between Ohio State and Oregon. That's a rematch of the regular season. That was a 1-possession game that Oregon won, the only remaining undefeated team in the nation. So that's going to be underway at 5. And then I mentioned the game between Notre Dame and Georgia. That should be a close, 1-possession game as well. The one potential blowout is going to be the first game of the day, roughly about 2 hours from now, Arizona State and Texas, and Arizona State got the bye. Winner of the Big 12 championship game, Texas, formerly of the Big 12, now in the SEC, coming off that 2-touchdown win against Clemson. But it seems like to me that's going to be too much, to handle. And it's, I think maybe in the future we'll see these, lower ranked teams, kind of put up more of a fight. We have to keep in perspective, this is only the first year of the expanded playoff, but I have to say I was thinking up to this point that we would have seen, maybe even an upset or just kind of a closer, margin of victory. And Bernie checking in says, "What's up, fellas? Happy New Year's." And he didn't say it, but I know he's thinking it. Let's go Yanks.
He said it.
And then he said it and was thinking it. Kev do kick rocks.
I can take it.
Also says Danny V, new member, it says, dude. So congrats, Danny V, being a new member on YouTube. Let's freaking go to ringing in this new year. Dude.
Ringing in the new year. And before coming in hot, before we pick these games and wrap it up, I just wanted to mention yesterday, we had a few bowl games and really a couple surprises here. We saw the first game of the day, Michigan beat Alabama. So how the mighty have fallen, a 4-loss season. Nick Saban shaking his head somewhere, but Michigan, taking the momentum of upsetting Ohio State in their last game of the year, win this one 19-13, holding Milroe to under 200 yards passing, and Marshall, the running back from Michigan, 100 yards rushing. So they finished 8-5. South Carolina, a 6-game winning streak over Illinois, pulling the upset there, 21-17. That was a close game. And the running back McCray for Illinois, 114 and 2 scores. Louisville winning by 1 over Washington in Tony's bowl game here at Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
That's right.
35-34. So that was an exciting game. Louisville going to 9-4. Washington, the disappointing follow-up, and after losing head coach Kalen DeBoer, 6-7 after losing in the national championship game last year. Final game of the evening, LSU beat Baylor 44-31. So they go to 9-4. This year, Baylor falling to 8-5, and it'll be interesting going into next year. Another year in the SEC for Brian Kelly. Can he finally break through? Because obviously, that was his whole thought process in moving to the SEC, being able to recruit better players than he was with the high academic standards at Notre Dame. Hasn't been able to do it yet. We'll be interested to see if he can. You know what else is interesting? I was just looking at this. Talk about a disparity in ticket prices, Tony. They're showing, for the 3 playoff games today. So to get into the Texas-Arizona State game, lowest price $17.40. But then Notre Dame, Georgia, $43, and then Ohio State, Oregon, right in the middle there at $321. Kind of nuts, no?
Yeah, dude. Why the hell? Why?
The disparity, dude.
Right? Why is there such a disparity?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the deal? Is it the stadiums?
You know,
It might New Orleans though,
and it's interesting too. Texas to Georgia. I mean, that's not that close.
No.
And then you think about Ohio State, Oregon. You would think there would be a big contingent of Ducks fans coming to that one, and Ohio State always travels.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am surprised too about Notre Dame, Georgia, because both, you think there's big fan bases for both of those schools as well.
That's the cheapest, dude.
But
that's wild.
Listen, who knows? So just wanted to kind of run down some picks here for these 3 games, and I know you're tight. I'm actually excited to watch them. I do think, like I said, I think the Texas game might get out of control, but I think we might have 2 classic games at both 5:00 and 8:45. Ohio State, Oregon, Notre Dame, Georgia. But for the Texas game here, they're 12-2, technically the 5 seed. Arizona State got the bye, the Big 12, 11-2.
Mm-hmm.
But Texas, 13-point favorites here, and I think they will cover the spread. Maybe a little Arch Manning, in the Wildcat, whatever you want to call it, a couple of rushes. But Ewers, I guess, has been nursing an injury. I think he'll be all right. But I think what it is they, control the tempo here, run the ball effectively, and probably force Arizona State, into some turnovers. So I'm going to say, they're going to cover in this one, and, maybe it's somewhat within reach, first half. I could see Texas, maybe up 20-10, but then maybe shut out Arizona State second half, add a pair of touchdowns themselves, and then ultimately end up winning. So 34-10. So that would be Texas and the under. What's your prediction here?
What's the deal with Arizona State? I feel like the -13 here.
You're seeing it as a sign of disrespect, I'm guessing, is what you're saying.
Yeah, dude. Do they just not match up? Yeah, like with
it's just the
teams?
schedule. It's just the schedule. I mean, the 11-2 is 11-2, but they look at who they played in Texas, the rigor more of the SEC, just a completely different ball game.
So, but the Longhorns are going to be probably like another level, you're saying?
That's what they're saying, that they're more battle tested. That's why the line is what it is. I mean, I know you could look at, Scatterbo, the running back for Arizona State, almost 1,600 yards on the ground.
Yeah. Like, so, like, what's the deal? Like, what?
Levitt, it just, again, they're just saying that the numbers are a little inflated because of who they played. And you look at their last 5 games: Iowa State, Arizona, BYU, Kansas State, UCF, while Texas faced Clemson, Georgia, Texas A&M, Kentucky, and Arkansas. So I think that's what the thought process is there. But you seem like you're speaking to a Sun Devil state of mind. It's just the way.
I mean, I guess I want to take the dog. I guess,
even
though I would be Longhorns, McConaughey, Young, whatever. I've been there. But I mean, I don't know, dude. That matchup sucks, dude. And that if I'm Arizona, that kind of blows. But again, I mean, you mentioned their running back. You want to get some of their receivers, their quarterback. I mean, all their numbers are very, very incredibly good. So I don't know. Maybe Longhorns overlook the Sun Devils here. That their defense can maybe do a bit better than they actually do, but they don't, dude. And I think Levitt really leaves it all on the field for Arizona. And I say Devils steal this one. I think like classic, game-ending 2-minute drill. Levitt runs it in himself at the end. I don't know. Give me Sun Devils 28, Texas 21.
Wow. So that would be the first upset in the new 12-team college football playoff. And you said 2021, so it would be the under, right?
Yes.
Okay, the under.
Yes.
And then second game rematch, from the regular season here. Oregon, number 1, 13-0, going up against Ohio State, who had the disappointing season-ending loss to Michigan, but then rebounded in a big way in the first-round matchup against Tennessee, a complete blowout. So I look at this game, and Ohio State is actually favored, which I, just don't necessarily agree with. I know they looked great against Tennessee, but I don't know. I just feel like the fact that they lost to Oregon already, and sometimes, sure, teams use that as motivation, but I just think there's a reason that Oregon was able to get through this, Big Ten schedule, win the Big Ten championship undefeated. And then you have a quarterback like Dylan Gabriel, who has made, I believe I was watching this last night, I think they said 62 starts in college, which is insane. And you think back to another former Oregon quarterback in Bo Nix, similar thing. And obviously that's boded well for him in the NFL. So I just think about the experience just how well that the team in general has performed this year. The fact that they were able to beat them the first time, I think it's just going to be a little bit of a wake-up call for Ohio State here. It's not like they're facing Tennessee. Total set at 55.5. I will go over on this one. I think we will see a lot of points. But I think Oregon late, Dan Lanning, the coach, that's another guy, almost like a Dan Campbell, Tony, in a sense, gets really jacked up.
Okay.
The whole thing, going for wins, not clicks, when they blew out Colorado last year.
Yep, remember that.
So I'm going to say Oregon pulls away late here and is going to win. I'm going to say 44 to 34. So let's go Ducks in the over. What do you think?
Ducks and the over. I do love the over, and I think we talked about it too. I think a lot of these games go on the overs. But in any case here, I know the Ducks 13-0. That's so wild. I guess how do I argue with that? I mean, how do you go with the Ducks? But then again, it's like I'm sitting here. Then why is Ohio favorite?
Vegas trap, Winnipeg. We saw through it. I'm saying where it's not always a Vegas trap. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But you seem like you're thinking, let's go Buckeyes.
I mean, I do like the Buckeyes.
Ohio State University.
No, but I guess give me the Ducks, dude. Another dog, right? Maybe it's gonna be the day of the dogs. We haven't had one, right?
Yeah.
Haven't had one dog win. So let's make it the second dog here, and this dog is gonna be in the form of a duck. So give me the Ducks here. Yeah, I like that, dude. I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. I'm going to say 38-31.
Okay.
Ducks.
So Ducks in the over.
Yeah.
And that is the Rose Bowl. They always do the Tournament of Roses parade.
That's very nice.
Something that you would like. That's always been one of my favorite bowl games.
It's very classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And growing up, USC was always in it. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, those type of things. Last game of the day coming from the All-State Sugar Bowl. As we have University of Georgia match up with Notre Dame here, Caesars Superdome. Georgia last game played was that SEC championship overtime win over Texas. Well, Notre Dame had the home win in the first round of the college football playoff. And obviously, when we get to this point in the season, Notre Dame has not been able to get over the hump the few times that they were in the college football playoff. Didn't win. Obviously, they won that first game. Indiana, a little different than Georgia. But I don't know. Georgia, the backup quarterback, Carson Beck with the UCL injury. They have to go to Stockton. So I give me Notre Dame here. I think they'll do a good job running the ball. Julian Love has done a great job. 16 touchdowns, just over 1,000 yards on the ground. And then Duke transfer Riley Leonard has done a lot with his legs. Not as much through the air, but I think, no matter how you have to get these yards, score these points, you do it. 45.5, I'm going to say under. This is a classic, close game. But I'm going to say we're going to see Notre Dame. Let's actually make it a walk-off field goal, Tony. 24-21, Fighting Irish, just on the under.
Who the Bulldogs quarterback going to be?
It's going to be Stockton, the backup. Beck has the UCL injury.
Right.
He's barely
Oh, there
played.
he is. Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
Sophomore. Oh, that's crazy, dude.
But had
yeah.
you? Oh.
And I'm just looking at his last game against the Longhorns here. 22-19 overtime win for Georgia, which is great. But he was 12 of 16, 71 yards through the air, 1 pick.
For Regis?
Oh.
You're not a Regis guy.
Nah, not really. I can't say that I am, dude. Can't say that I am. It's interesting that they would go with Gunnar. Why that guy Stockton? They have a junior who looks like Colin Drake on their team too.
Just practice. What they do in practice, yeah.
Kind of crazy, dude. And I mean, I guess at that point, how do you not go with Notre Dame? Uncle Richie rolling over at home right now. Because, I mean, what are you going to do, dude? It's like, yeah, I mean, like, obviously the Bulldogs have some solid receivers, and you can, you'll get Smith here, 750 yards on the season, 4 touchdowns. Like, yeah, but, like, now he has no one to get him the ball. And it's like, are they going to go to a run game predominantly? And it's like they limp their way into a Longhorn win in overtime. I guess that's kind of cool, rely on defense, but I don't know. Maybe I guess I'll go with Notre Dame, not the dog. Overtime win for Notre Dame. I guess Bulldogs do it, I guess they keep it going, I suppose. I guess it's been an overtime theme for them this season. So give me Notre Dame here. Did you go with the under or the over?
I went with the under.
I'm going to go with the under as well.
Okay.
That makes sense. Backup quarterback. Georgia's not going to score a lot, and I think the Irish can get this game done 27-10?
27-10. All right. So, hopefully we get some good games here for the college football playoff. Not much else out there. UConn playing DePaul. I think they're double-digit favorites, but I'm going to say Huskies win that one by a right 20.
I didn't see that one on my docket here.
Yes.
Huskies, huh?
Well, for college basketball.
Oh, I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Come on. I mean, Huskies football, they won the ball game.
I was going to say, yeah.
But of course, go UConn. And then that's really it, Tony. Gaming corner later.
Gaming corner, 7 p.m. tonight, dude. Michael, predominantly, everyone else will be involved, obviously, but he's been playing Red Dead Redemption, PlayStation 3. Are you aware of the game?
No.
It was created by the same people who made Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
So it plays exactly the same, except you're in the Old West.
Old West?
The Old West,
okay.
dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Michael, he says goats, and your mother also says Happy New Year. Were you up last night?
I texted my mother last night. Happy New Year.
I feel like maybe, a couple too many Guinnesses, forgot to text her back.
No, I texted my mother. I texted my father as well. When he
okay.
Texted.
All right.
And then Michael said goes right there. And I wasn't drinking Guinness. I was drinking
Coronas.
Narragansett.
Narragansett, dude.
Keep it
She said she
American,
called
dude.
you. How about that? Wow. A little bit of a call out here. Maybe a couple too many Narragansetts, Tony.
I don't think she did.
The service, maybe you didn't see it. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, maybe. But I texted her. She texted me.
Hey, listen. And Josh B says, cart tonight, LOL.
Probably not going to be cart. I'm going to have the Switch on standby, because Mike always likes to play the Switch.
But I heard you had the perm ban because you've been winning too much. So
I mean, yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous for me anyway, dude. It's just like it's not fun anymore, right?
All right, it's not funny. How the fuck am I funny?
But yeah, I'm sure we'll have the Switch on standby. Maybe some strikers, dude.
And she says yes. Then I called you. So I think that'll be something you'll have to sort out here, Tony.
Yep, no, I think so.
But yeah. That being said,
so wait, Josh B said he would send me. Speaking of calling people out, he was gonna send me a video of him deep frying the turkey.
Never got it. So I'm sure you will get that momentarily.
Yeah, I better, dude.
And then your mother said, glad you had a good time. How about you, Brian? Great time, but was asleep before the ball drop. But nevertheless, got some good rest, ready to go. Excited to watch some college football games today. So let's go. And like I said, appreciate everybody who tuned in today and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay and Costume, the merch at downtime2.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy Gaming Corner.
Yep.
And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.